So I figured I would show you guys how I save my bean seeds year after year. My parents taught me this trick. But anyway, these are Mountaineer beans. My aunt down in North Carolina, a plastic bag, like a sandwich bag. Thank you. She suggested these after years of using greasy back beans that came from Tennessee, North Carolina, that we saved year after year. We got them from another aunt down there, and then we started growing them. Then we saved the seeds. And they used to recommend that bean. But last year, well, I guess 2 years now, my Aunt Pat, thank you. My Aunt Pat said, once you grow these Mountaineers, they're better than the other bean. You'll love these ones. So anyway, and when you grow green beans, a lot of people over the years have asked me, like, I'm only getting enough green beans, for dinner that day. How do you get enough green beans? Ooh, Jesus here. How do you get enough green beans to start canning, to get a surplus of green beans? And what I say to that is, don't ever read the back of a green bean packet, or any packet for that matter, where it says space them out every few inches. When we sow green beans, first off, it's direct sow in the ground. Don't. You want to put that on? There you go. Okay. So you're going to direct sow them. Don't ever start them in a container, because you're not going to grow enough beans. Are you helping Mommy? That way. So what we do when we sow green beans is we have our little trench, and instead of placing a green bean here, quiet baby, okay? Instead of just laying a green bean here, laying a green bean there, what we do, because we can a lot of green beans. That's the number one thing I would say that we can. What we do when we sow our green beans is you take a handful, and we sow like this. Touching, like piles of them just touching. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say if all 5 of those germinated, you're just going to have 5 plants. But right here, within this 4 inches, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plants just in those 4 inches. And I will take them and sow them heavily 40 feet. So that is how we get so many green beans. Don't space them apart. You will never. All right, sorry about that interruption. Maybe. Okay. So as I was saying, don't space your beans apart. Do not space your beans apart like this. When you sow them, you're going to have your hands full of seed. And like I said, you're just going to, just like that. That is all we do. Close together. None of this spacing. Don't do that. If you want a surplus of beans, you're going to grow them heavily in a line. Now, at the end of season, because usually you are beaned out. I mean, beans start coming on and then it feels like they never end. And before you know it, you have an abundance of canned green beans in your pantry. And you just get tired of picking the beans. You just let some die off, dry out on the vine. Or you go ahead and pick them and bring them in the house. These have been sitting on my hutch all winter long, all fall, all winter long. And this is how we get our seed supply for next year. Anything you can grow, if you can harvest their seed, you definitely should. That way you don't have to buy them the following year or ever again, hopefully. So once they're dry, you just, no need to string them or anything. They just crack right open. Unlike when you're canning your green beans, you have to string them, snap them. These just fly right open. And beans start going everywhere. And these are the Mountaineer green beans. I did save some of the other variety that we like. And I'll plant just 2 rows of these this year. Last year I did 2 rows. It was enough. The years before that, I did like 3 rows and it was just too many. I had green beans coming out of my ears. I remember it was fall, early fall. I'd be sitting up at the football field still snapping green beans. I mean, it was just never ending. And then you get tired of doing green beans and then you just stop. So then essentially that row is just wasted if you're letting it die on the vine. So why waste all that hard work planting them and taking up garden space? That's a big one. So I'm just going to grow what we need, what we will use, which is about 2 rows. I give a lot of green beans away throughout the year also. We eat a lot of green beans. Having green beans tonight. But this is how I harvest our seeds to plant for the following year. And then I'll just store them in a bag or a jar, either or. Jars are a hot commodity, so usually I store some things in jars, but usually just go ahead and store them in a bag and you'll be fine. I think this thing is on. Yeah. But if you do this, you'll never need to buy bean seed again unless you want to try a different variety. We just stick to the tried and true. This is the last one. And I'll just put these in a bag, label them. Is that it? That is it. And add these. I have a couple other bags of these beans laying everywhere. You guys have seen my seed collection. It's not very organized. It's one of those things like you know what you have up in here until you forget. Prime example, went to go trim the goat hooves yesterday. Bought a brand new $30 pair of hoof trimmers, and I can't find them. Never used, still in packaging. I have looked in every nook and cranny that I thought that I would have placed them to just get them out of my way because they were sitting on my countertop, and I got tired of looking at them, so I shoved them somewhere, and I have no idea where. So I tried about 2 other pairs of, here's bean, goat trimmers. I mean, it got the job done, but not as nice as a new pair would have done. So anyway, back to my seed catalog. I'll go add this to the bucket of seeds I have. Hopefully I'll remember to plant them this year along with my other seeds. But if not, I'll just save them for next year. I've got enough seed laying around that if I misplace this bag, I have plenty other bags of seed that I will just plant this year. And I'll save these for the following year or even the year after. They'll be fine. All right, so happy planting. Hope you learned something from the seed saving trick that will save you money in the long run, because if you just let these die out on the vine or just pick them when they're green, bring them in the house and let them dry out, you will have free seeds for year after year after year. There you go.